Dia browser is a relatively new AI browser which is a direct competitor to Google Chrome. It was released by the browser company, which is known for its designers, like the one who designed Apple's Safari and creating browsers. Obviously. In this video, I will carefully review Dia browser, and by the end you will know is this browser actually better than Google Chrome. Let's get into it. And I will start by showing you a quick overview of the browser's design and main interface. First of all, Dia has a built-in ad blocker. That's great. And it's known for its gorgeous animations, which follow you throughout the browser. But as Steve Jobs once said, design is not only how it looks like, design is how it works. Therefore, let's look into the main interface, starting with the new tab menu. This one, to be honest, surprised me, because top bar and search bar are separated, which is not bad, but definitely takes time to get used to. There is also an AI panel, which helps you with asking questions about the web page, and this arrow, which felt quite awkward to me at first. Something like 3-dot symbol would be way more intuitive. These design changes are quite decent, but what I enjoyed are these power user features that make Dia stand out. The first such feature is split view, which allows you to split the tab into two different parts quickly, which can be helpful when you have a lot of tabs opened. Moreover, Dia also has tab groups feature, which allows you to organize your tabs into different groups, so you will have cleaner workspace. And unlike other browsers, Dia offers you to automatically name these tab groups using AI, so you won't have to manually type name for each collection. And the final interesting feature is sidebar view, which allows you to move your tabs from the top to the sidebar. And this works way better than in other browsers, and in Dia it feels even more natural to use than the default view. However, basic design elements like pop-ups, bookmarks menu, and even settings window are inherited from the Safari browser, which is a good thing because, as Steve Jobs once said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So think of Dia as a hybrid between Google Chrome and Safari. Moving on to the AI features of Dia, which I suppose are its secret sauce, but let's see if they're better than, let's say, ChatGPT. First of all, Dia has its own Dia AI, which is powered by ChatGPT, of course. And what is interesting is that you can't integrate with Dia your ChatGPT Pro subscription, if you bought it. In fact, Dia offers you its own subscription for roughly the same features, but more on that later in the video. Anyway, you can access Dia AI from the sidebar, from the new tab menu, and even when selecting text. It works just like ChatGPT, but it truly shines when you use it inside a particular tab. For example, when you want to ask about a particular subject on the web page, like about these shoes, and compare them to other shoes. That's the only use case I see for Dia AI currently. There are some additional features in development like skills, which allow you to use Dia for specific things like studying, but that's exactly what ChatGPT Projects offers. That's why I say that they're in development, because for now, it's really nothing special. Moving on to the pricing, and this is where Walt Disney's quote fits perfectly. It's kind of fun to do the impossible, and Dia developers did exactly that. They introduced a Pro plan for more AI features, which costs $20 a month, and they completely ignored the fact that all other browsers are totally free. And what makes this even more awkward is that Dia is still in beta. It is being actively tested and developed. It's not a finished product. Therefore, new features could eventually become part of this Pro subscription. So the pricing is quite controversial. And now, the conclusion. Dia browser is a great browser overall. It might not be the best currently, but it is certainly better than Google Chrome, in my opinion. It is way better in terms of design, has some nice additional features, and supports all of the Chrome's extensions. It even has an ad blocker, by default. So I don't see a reason why it could be worse than Google's browser. The only concern remains the pricing, but it is something that we can only keep an eye on. For now, Dia is only starting to get popular. However, if you want to play around with your Mac setup while developers of Dia will be adjusting the pricing, watch this video next. I will hopefully see you there. Thanks for watching this one.